I'm watching the Patriots so much. And I did my scorched earth thing yesterday. Like, there's not much more to say about that game. But what I do appreciate from this season is the drama that is coming from mainly Belichick Kraft. And Belichick's now in the media. He's talking about the Patriots more, good, bad, or otherwise. I'm pleasantly surprised. I think he's doing a little bit better than I thought he was going to do. Like, I watched the Manning cast. Was that last week he did it? He might have done it last night. I don't know. I rarely watch the Manning cast, but I saw that Belichick was going to be on, and I was like, how's he going to play this? And he is not the funniest guy in the world. No matter what people will tell you, they're like, oh no, Bill's actually really funny behind the scenes. He's not. But he is self-deprecating, and he does a lot of good like football talk. And he obviously knows literally all the players, all the coaches, all the refs. Like, he knows everything about everything when it comes to football. So I enjoy that. And he was on with Brady and Jim Gray. There's two fans of Jim Gray out there still, and it's his mother and it's Pete Souza, because Jim Gray had a microphone for NBC at one point, so Pete Souza will not say a bad word about him ever. Right? Am I right? Like, every announcer is great. You can't criticize any announcer with Pete.
I love Pete
Pete's
Gray.
going to defend him, Jim Gray.
I saw him
yeah.
out on a beach one time, and we had a good long
He literally,
talk.
we talked about it a few weeks ago. He's read Jim Gray's book and like wrote him a letter, and Jim Gray responded, no way, because that's like the only person that read his book,
Santa.
Pete. Yeah.
Dear Jim Gray, I would love a good interview.
But we have Kraft throwing shots at Belichick last week, which is, honestly, it's sad. It's pathetic. The Robert Kraft stock is going down. I mean, look, how far down can it go when you've won 6 Super Bowls, and saved the franchise? Like, let's be honest, saved the franchise.
Checks index for Jerry Jones.
Huh?
Checks index for Jerry Jones.
Yeah, Jerry is the model of that. But he's like throwing all these shots at Belichick afterwards, and I'm like, dude, just move on. Like, you could have. All right, so you basically fired Belichick, right? Essentially, they said it was mutual, but you basically fired him, and like, that should be the end of it. When Belichick has done for you what he has done for you, like, he has in a way made your career in football, made it. Okay, there's no mystique around the Patriots without Bill Belichick, and there's certainly no 6 Super Bowl championships without Bill Belichick. All right, so yeah, you made a good decision by making the trade to come and get him, and then he did the rest. And now, how about you just kind of let us both ride off into the sunset? Instead, he's like taking shots at Belichick and the roster he left him, and it's like, you've got to be kidding me, dude. Seriously, this is the guy you're going to take shots at? And you won't say it. You wouldn't. It was like pulling teeth to get you to say an ill word about Roger Goodell after Deflategate. You did, but it took a while. And now you're going to take shots at Bill Belichick on the way out the door? Like, seriously? Like, know who butters your bread here a little bit. And so Belichick is throwing some things back at the Patriots. And here is what he said with Pete's favorite, Jim Gray, and Tom Brady.
Hey, Coach, have you ever had a soft team?
Look, I think when you criticize your team publicly like that, it doesn't always go over well. Not every coach has their own style, and maybe sometimes that can be effective and all. But ultimately, I always felt like when the team played bad, that was my responsibility too. I mean, we might have had bad playing, but we had bad coaching that led to bad playing. So I think it's always best to kind of take a look at yourself and do what you can do to help the team. And then, if you have constructive criticism as a coach, that's your job. But I don't know. Last year the Patriots led the league in rushing defense yards per carry, number 1 in the league. This year they're 26th or whatever it is. It's the same players. I don't think that those players on defense are soft, but they haven't stopped the run very well this year.
Best thing to ever happen to that podcast. Because that is not an entertaining one.
Yeah.
Jim Gray, Tom Brady didn't even know it was still going. But so he takes a bit of a shot there. And I'll say this, everyone was bitching about how Belichick wasn't nice enough, especially when Brady left, right? Is like, oh, he wasn't nice enough. He never really said nice things about Brady in the media, yada, yada, yada. And that's partially true, right? But already, halfway through season 1, Gerard Mayo has done something that Bill Belichick never did. Belichick never called his team out in the media. Didn't do it. he would say, hey, there's things we need to work on, we need to get better at, but he never said a team was soft or a player was soft or a player was bad, this, that, or the other. Do I disagree with what Gerard Mayo said? No, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to say that. I think Belichick didn't say it for the whole reasons we laid out yesterday, and for what he said in there too. The buck stops with you. The buck stops with the head coach. So if you go out and say in the media, my team's a soft team, that means me, the coach, not doing the job I need to be doing. And he just puts out a fact there at the end. The Patriots are the best defense against the run last year when Belichick was the head coach. And now they're down near the bottom, 26th, 27th, whatever it is. They're like a bottom 5, bottom 6 rush defense now when he's not the coach. So I think it's good that Belichick can lobby some fastballs back, of, hey, here's just some facts. I know you want to say it was so bad when I was there and at the end, but you re-signed a couple of guys this year, right? Anthony Jennings, Devon Godshaw, Jabril Peppers. Those are Belichick guys. Kyle Duggar. Those were guys Belichick drafted or Belichick acquired. So if the roster was in such bad shape with what Belichick left you, why did you commit to guys that he brought into the room? Like, that's what I don't understand. And again, it's just this Patriots organization now cannot get out of its own way. They want to make Bill Belichick the boogeyman. And with Patriots fans, that's never going to work. Never going to work. They'll sooner turn on the owner than they will on Belichick. Belichick delivered them 6 Super Bowls and is the best coach of all time. And if you want to talk about his record without Brady, go right ahead. Those banners are still going to be there. Like, Patriots fans do not give a shit about that. And so to make this guy the enemy when you could, they had it. They had the best dynasty ever in the history of sports. With what you look at what the NFL in the 2000s, how hard it was to win in it and win consistently. They are the best. And they could have just ended it in January with saying, Bill has given us 25 years, awesome years with this franchise, led it to heights that will never be reached again. He's the greatest coach in history. It's been a few years post Brady. It hasn't been where we want it to be. We're ready to go on. We're ready to move on to the next chapter. And instead, I've got Robert Kraft going on Charlemagne the God's show and talking about, it wasn't a very nice thing around here, and we were left with bad. It's like cut the crap. And it's become like such a clown show organization in such a short amount of time because, all I could think of when Belichick was saying that was, oh, but remember what it was like a couple months ago when the players saying it was fun again and you're treated like human beings and, oh, you've got a basketball hoop and a bicycle in your locker room. And now you're 1-6 and you're getting called soft because you are soft and you're a joke in this league. So, yeah, Belichick wasn't always nice to the people, his players in the media. He wasn't saying how great his players were in the media week after week, but he didn't call them soft. And he did it in between those walls, calling out his players. And he treated them like professionals. And instead, you treat it like a carnival in the locker room, and you're 1-6 and you got a soft football team.
Can I add one thing?
Please.
He's not on another team right now either.
Correct.
So you're shooting blanks this second.
Yeah.
You got nothing to point at but him. And there's no way. I've never been a Patriots fan, but I know that feeling. And you're not going to turn on that coach that was there for you the whole time.
It's not going to work. Like, it's not. And all Kraft does this for is for the fans and their perception of him. Right. And like, that's just a battle you're never going to win ever. And like, he's still, kind of seen as this legend, Bob Kraft, and he should be, again, for saving the franchise. That does not go unnoticed. But like, I compare him to John Henry with the Red Sox, and like, everyone hates John Henry, and he is so unrelatable and tone deaf and does not connect with the fans. But say what you will about him, he's not really trying to be beloved by the fans. Not really. Or Kraft always is. And going against Bill Belichick is not going to work for you. It's just not. I know you can point to his record without Brady, but Patriots fans are going to be like, I don't give a shit. He won 6 Super Bowls for us, and he ran the team what we think is the right way to run the team. Just how you would all want to run your business. Like, that's how he ran his football team. And you go and ask his former players, they might say, it wasn't fun, but you'd be hard-pressed to find players that said it was a clown show or I wasn't treated like a professional. Everyone got a fair shake. Everybody. Anyone could be at the risk of getting benched or losing their job week to week if you didn't work your ass off. And instead, what you got now is the opposite of that. And what you have now is a soft football team. So I don't mind Belichick doing that. And in fact, the day before he was on McAfee, and everyone was saying he was throwing shots at the team. And he really wasn't. He was actually defending his players that he brought in there by saying, I don't think they're soft players, but right now they're playing as a soft football team. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. No one's going to argue that they're not playing like a soft football team, except for their own head coach who said it the day before, having to backtrack it the next day. Oh, I don't think they're soft players, but we're playing soft right now. This is going to be the only entertainment for the Patriots the next year or two. There's going to be Drake May development, and there's going to be drama between Kraft, Belichick, and they're the franchise icon, greatest player in the history of the sport, right in the middle of it. Right in the middle of it with Tom Brady. And look, Brady, I mean, everyone said about their relationship and what that's like. And here we go, a couple weeks into the media tour of Belichick, he's on Brady's podcast. And Brady has not said a bad word about Belichick once since leaving New England. Not once. And yeah, did he probably want a little bit more praise? Who wouldn't? But I think he's okay with the trade-off of, being treated like a professional and not getting praised all the time and working on what you need to work on and winning Super Bowls. And then he went somewhere else and proved he could do it somewhere else. And happy ending, end of story, right? But I'm throwing this prediction out now. There's going to be Super Bowl champion reunions here in the next couple of seasons or whatever it is. There's going to be some Super Bowl champions reunions at Gillette. And there are going to be some that Belichick doesn't show up to. I think that's exactly what we're heading towards. Is it going to be the spite level of the Jets, like I said a few weeks ago? Probably not. Probably not that. But I doubt he is going to really embrace this organization. And if he does go on to coach somewhere else, you're really going to see some Molotov cocktails thrown. I think so. And he is going to love beating the Patriots if he gets that opportunity again. But I don't think this is going to be one where he's coming back for some of these Super Bowl champions. What's the next one? 2 years from now will be the 25th anniversary of the first one. Wow, 2001. I'll bet he politely declines. I don't think you'll see a lot of Belichick around Foxborough now, even though he lives in Massachusetts. I think there's going to be a real rift there, the same way there was with Kraft and Parcells, just a little bit delayed, right? And that is going to be intriguing to watch over the next several years. Is how are we going to look back on this dynasty knowing that the owner and the head coach hate each other now? It's happened before, Mike. It has happened before, like plenty of times.
It'll happen again.
It will happen again. Yeah. We've seen it around sports before.
I can't wait to see what happens when somebody spots that Belichick bought a house in Dallas. That's coming.
Speaking of which, it took till last year, the year of our Lord, 2023, for Jimmy Johnson to get in the Cowboys Ring of Honor. That was 30 years after Jerry fired him.
Think about this.
That could be what we're looking at here. That could be a precursor to Belichick Kraft.
These are billionaires fighting each other too.
Yeah, just like petty little shit. Like
petty stupid shit.
Yeah. And like, again, I'm dumping on Kraft a lot these days. I love what he did for the franchise. But like, it is asinine to think as an owner of the football team that you had more to do with this success than the head coach. Asinine. You took a risk. You brought him in. It was a great decision. You gave him the keys. You gave him the keys to the castle, and he made it even better. He made it the best castle in the history of castles.
It's just the pride, It's pride.
I know, and it sucks.
Reputation is one thing because reputation can be for certain amounts of time. Legend is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
He's building his legend, and his legend will be tainted towards the end. I mean, that's just the way it is.
And it's bizarre because you know what I think about, and it's the closest thing I can get to a comparison with this football team is like those kind of jag receivers who didn't have much of an NFL career outside of their time with New England. Like they will say, I mean, even Julian Edelman will say it. Like, I owe my career to Brady. Or Gronk has said it. He's like, I don't want to play for another quarterback other than Brady. Like, obviously Gronk is a Hall of Famer, but like some of these other guys, they're like, I have rings on my finger. I have a platform after my post-playing career. I made a bunch of money because of Tom Brady, and you're not going to change my mind about that. And yet here is the owner who's basically in the same situation with the head coach instead of a quarterback, or in addition to a quarterback, I guess, who is not willing to say that, yeah, you know what? Bill and I, we had 20 great years, and he did more for this franchise than anybody, and he took us to new heights. And yeah, it's just time to move on. He can't do that. And that's dumb. That's just straight up dumb.